Deputy Donahue. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go on to Aidan and just for one, because we'll just go on costings at the moment. So the costings that you gave there, all of them are plus VAT. Plus VAT, because you dealing with QS all the time, it's all plus VAT. So on a 2,000 square foot house,
just maybe to reiterate as well, the costings that I actually give are based around my local area. I'm from Monishown.
Yeah.
Even if you go on an hour up the road into Letterkenny, the cost is going to be higher still. I don't really know.
I'm basing our cost on roughly at the moment in our area it's around €180 a square foot. That's the cost of roughly to build a house. So 2,000 square foot house would cost you 360,000 plus VAT. And the VAT on that house would be 48,600 on VAT.
Yeah.
That's the first thing the government could waive, is the VAT, which might bring us back into a slight part of redress. Into the percentage rate that we're missing is the VAT gets, and anyone that has pyrite in their house, if they remove the VAT, that's 48,000 that will bring us closer to getting where your costings are. Now, going back through a building process, and we'll just start a house that has pyrite at the moment, and I'm coming in the front gate. Number one, you may have a tarmac drive, if you're lucky enough to have one. You come in, you've got to take down the house. That means that your sewerage and your footpaths and everything around your house is going to be impacted, because you've got to go down to foundation level. If the foundation, that means all your sewerage system is actually been taken up. The €180 a square foot doesn't cover all the external works. That's a builder's finish. That's no kitchen, no curtains, no paint, no reinstating your bathroom tiles. None of it. It's a builder's finish. So it comes up well short of the costings that they're giving you at the moment. That's what we're coming. And to remove all the rubble from the site now has to go to licensed tips. You mightn't have a licensed tip near enough to your area, so now you've got a transport cost of getting your material from your household to a licensed tip. So this also adds another cost onto. But if you work it out, it could be actually €30 a square foot more by the time you do all the remedial works around your house, reinstating your lawns, because it's not a small job to take out the material that you have to take out. The government have not looked at this, and the costings haven't been looked at this. So if the government want to come closer, and we have all government people here and they all want to help, 13.5% on a 2,000 square foot house is €48,600. That should be added into the redress scheme 100% straight away. That brings you closer to getting to where you need to go to. But they still need to rise the rates. On that 13.5%, when you buy materials, your materials are 23%. The VAT comes off then when the contractor is priced due, and he puts 13.5% on the whole. There's 10% more on the materials that are coming into that, costings coming into that.
Deputy Donahue, sorry, just 3 minutes if you want to put a question.
Yeah,
to
so
witnesses. Okay, thank you.
I will, yeah, thank you. So you've 10%. Have ye put that to in any of your submissions to government? Have you put an ask them to remove the 13.5% VAT to houses that have pyrite, to bring you closer to getting to the 100% redress that you 100% need?
Yes, we did. Back in the working groups of last summer, we did that, and we were quickly told in our circular economy that wouldn't be an option. It just would not be something they were prepared to consider. And this is back to the point that the department dictated the terms of reference, and that was a no-go area. It wasn't even up for discussion. And then SCSI took the terms of reference with all their exclusions and did the best job they could. I don't have any issue with them. The issue was the terms of reference, which excluded all of the what should be eligible costs that you've just talked about, but they're off. And that stuff we have to find money for ourselves as homeowners, and that's not right.
100% right. So what we're saying here, so, is that has been taken off the table. So that now has to be re-looked at government to say that this comes back in, because that's a sizable amount of money that will go a long way to helping the redress. Go ahead.
We did the same thing. We did it in 2020 after the current grant scheme became available. We put in, I think it was 24 asks, and getting the VAT back was one of them, which was no, day one.
Well, That to me is absolutely disgraceful. It's one thing that could actually go a long way. And it's very easy policing because you can still get your invoice, including the VAT, and then it comes back to the revenue with a 0 VAT rating on it for people that suffer with, that have pyrite or mica in their houses. And it can be very easy, looked at, very easy, managed and transparent across the board. And if anyone is trying to manipulate the figures, the square footage is there roughly on the time that you're there. So any QS can tell you if somebody's after open their square footage, because the material cost, everything is done out on spreadsheets to show you what square footage you're charging. So those square footage can be worked out. The VAT can be easily seen, and it's one simple one that we could come back to and make sure that we can get the 100% redress that you have. Now, you said that different areas have different prices. Taking into account and the timelines, and this is where I want again extended, Chair, is that contractors are not there now. There's 5 contractors in my area with 30 years experience have now pulled out a building because they said they could no longer afford to build. And that's going to be another phase that we have and the government have to take into account. Thank you.